Right now is kind of a weird time within Call of Duty because again, we are so close to Black Ops 4's official launch coming this Friday. No longer are we waiting full weeks to months, it's now just on the horizon in plain view. But I say it's weird because normally right around now we'd have a ton of different leaks coming out regarding the game, because right at this point a large portion of retailers are either getting their shipments or already have their shipments of the current title in place, and that's why you end up seeing different locations and different retailers already putting up displays for the game and everything. And as of say 3 to 4 years ago, your cousin's best friend's uncle's son's neighbor may have had that hookup that you were so excited to get a copy of the game early through. But around this time, we'd normally start to see all sorts of leaks for a few minutes or a few hours be up and out there before Activision inevitably copyright striked them and took them down. But we'd normally see all sorts of things like weapons, camos, maps, zombies, as well as what was previously campaign leaks, all filing in from absolutely every direction. And this time around, this year, well, it's not so much the case anymore. So why is that? Today we're gonna be taking a look at how Treyarch is actually combating these leaks and how things are differently, and when we might start to see some things go online. So a general sort of housekeeping discussion as for the next couple of days and what to expect when we're coming up to all these leaks, and of course the moment we've all been waiting for, the launch of Black Ops 4 on Friday, October 12th. So that said, let's just jump right into it. So this year is different in a way that it wasn't compared to necessarily last year. It falls relatively in line with what we saw with World War II's pre-launch, and that was something in which we, for the first time, or at least to my recollection the first time, in Call of Duty, had a way to actually combat players from getting online or getting into the game too early. This is something that if you were to take a look at World War II back then, a couple of days or a week before the actual launch in November of last year, you weren't even able to access the game itself. There was something that came up with an error that said you needed to actually get an update for the game to end up playing it, or in some cases it wouldn't even launch. And that is how it is with Black Ops 4 right now. If you were to take a look at this, if you were one of those people that unfortunately may have spent a hefty price tag to get a game early from whoever it may be or wherever it may be, and you were to go and take a look at it, apparently right now there are some safeguards in place that tell you can't even get past the main menu screen. Now, while of course there isn't necessarily as much offline to do with this game compared to say World War II, where you had the campaign, you had zombies, which again is in Black Ops 4, you of course had other things that you could end up doing. But this time around, if you were to boot up the game early, as in if you were to right now, you'd get to the main menu screen, and when you try to proceed, be met with the message of an update is required to play Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So you can't even get past that main menu screen. So first things first, well, rest in peace to the wallets of the people that paid a few $100s to maybe even upwards of $1,000 for the game early, as some retailers will try and put under the table to anybody that wants them. But this is also big news in the sense that right now we are relatively dry in terms of leaks. We haven't heard all that much, and that's because of partially this. When you take a look at all the information out there right now in Black Ops 4, there really isn't that much that's been leaked to begin with, firstly, and that of what has doesn't actually deal with in-game content. We've seen all sorts of maps confirmed by Treyarch in which they tweeted videos of them, and those were really cool to take a look at. Of course, new information in some regards as well, but other things like the PSN trophies, those were leaked on PlayStation's end, and they more so dealt with top-level challenges, things that you don't have to actually access the game for. That came from PlayStation and Sony via publishing, not actually in-game. When you took a look at those air quote perks that were leaked the other day, those were fake and never really had any information come from inside the game. So as it stands right now, as of recording this on Sunday, we have absolutely nothing from actually in the game itself. But of course, that is subject to change. So when could that change? That really comes down to what all is available when a day one update ends up dropping, which theoretically sounds like it would be on day one, but that usually happens earlier. And also if things can be picked apart from the PC files, if those are available once preload starts for PC. So that's where we can start to break this down a little bit further, and when, if you're not looking for leaks, you can kind of avoid everything, and if you are looking for leaks, that's when you can start to expect the these things to come out and probably have your timelines flooded with a bunch of different things, either here on YouTube from your favorite creators, over on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, wherever it may be that you really watch for Call of Duty content. That's when you're gonna see probably a lot of it happening. So the first thing that's really been up to date we can talk about and actually was confirmed is the PC preload. Now this isn't guaranteed that we will see the files be maybe, say, able to be picked apart, but it is possible at that point because people will have the game installed. But as of October 9th, that's when you'll be able to, if you've pre-purchased on battle.net, able to preload the PC version of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. This was confirmed earlier in the week by Treyarch themselves over on Reddit, talking about the sort of status for the game itself, and they mentioned that early in the morning Pacific time on the 9th you'll be able to start preloading on battle.net. Now, right now there is no other information on the Xbox One and PS4 copies for digital preload there, but it is something that may follow shortly thereafter or maybe in line with Tuesday, October 9th. Now that's something that again is very, very close, so you can definitely look forward to that. But the one thing that will, or I guess will not come about of this preload is that you don't have access to the game. You only have it installed so that once midnight rolls around, for whatever region you're in, you can end up playing it then. You can play it right at the turn of the night, and therefore you can jump right in the action. You don't have to wait a few hours to start the download and then jump into it depending on your internet speeds and how long it'll take for you to actually install. But that is something that you'll be able to get that process out of the way early, so then you can just jump right into the game. Now, as for that, if it is something that does fall in line with preloads being available for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, that might hint that a day one update is also coming around that time as well. Presumably Tuesday or Wednesday then, if we're getting it earlier than the actual launch date itself. Now, why these dates are very important is because that in previous years, and of course it probably will happen again this year, servers go online a few days earlier than that of when the game actually launches, and that's for a number of different reasons, but it boils down to simply just the stress on the servers. If you were to turn on a server system and immediately think that the hundreds of thousands to maybe millions of players across the world on day one would have no server issues just by your first day of testing those servers up, you'd be in for a lot of trouble. And that's something that, while it might not be the same sort of scenario, you'd have the same sort of outcome as what we had with World War II last year, where the brand new headquarters and server system was just not in line with each other. They were not cooperating, and so therefore, dedicated servers actually got taken offline, and you'd have another faulty launch as such. So these sorts of things happen all the time where soft launches of servers go live, and then also within that time, players that do have the physical copies can't actually jump online and actually get their rank started. Whether or not we actually see a reset come day one, that's something that we don't know of just yet. I think World War II last year didn't reset, but years previously did. But whenever these servers go online, that is kind of the true indicator for when these leaks will definitely start to come out in droves. Because servers will be online, that update will presumably be out there that players can then access the game past that main menu, and then that's when the floodgates are going to open. So if I were to give you a solid, definitive idea of when that will be, historically, Call of Duty usually likes to put the servers online 2 to 3 days before. So at the latest, I would expect it to be Wednesday, maybe as early as Tuesday, but again, that's just basing it off of historical comparison to past launches. It may happen tomorrow for all we know, maybe even today after this video goes live at some point, but I wouldn't put my money on those ones, just because we haven't seen it happen that early on since Call of Duty has been doing this sort of rollout process. But that is when we kind of can expect these leaks to happen. At that point, well, then all hell may break loose, because if you're a Zombies fan, I'm sure that somebody will have a copy and be posting a ton of things on Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, and same goes for pretty much everywhere else as well. Though Zombies, I think, honestly, probably is the thing under the lock and key the most. We've seen a lot of things with Black Ops 4 multiplayer, we've seen Blackout, we haven't seen the full offering of that just yet because beta is still at maybe most half to maybe 3/4 of the full contents in the game itself. And plus, there's still a lot of things that we don't know really how they'll work out just yet. A lot of things being like camos, the Mastercraft and signature weapons, if supply drops will be in the game, a lot of things like that. So, of course, all those will probably be spoiled here for us, but for the time being, Treyarch and Activision are doing a pretty solid job at keeping it under wraps. It can only last for so long, unfortunately, for people that like to go in with a clear and fresh vantage point on everything, but that's going to be something that the spoils are held off at least a little longer. That said, we'll keep you guys up to date with anything that does come out, but of course I'll give you clear spoiler warnings and everything like that if there is anything of sheer massive importance that may be covered. So if you guys want to stay up to date with all that kind of stuff, of course, we'll keep you guys posted here on the channel. But that's where we're kind of at with this video. Want to let you guys know about why it's a little different this year, when you can expect those floodgates to open, whether or not you're looking forward to those leaks and you can actually have an indication as to when more will come, or if you're not necessarily looking forward to them, and then you can know when to avert your eyes. But that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. So love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Are you guys happy with this sort of system that is now carried over from World War II into Black Ops 4 as to why you actually can't get into the game early and therefore kind of preventing some leaks from happening preemptively? Love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. That's where we're gonna wrap it up. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Call of Duty Black Ops 4, multiplayer, blackout, zombies. We got you covered here up on the channel, and we are so close. I'm incredibly excited. So if you guys want to stay up to date with all that kind of stuff, tips, tricks, best class setups, news, information, all that good stuff, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all of it. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter and Instagram, so if you guys want to follow on those, links are down there in the description below for you to check out. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.